Welcome to the Onondaga Cutoff. This is Dave Abeles, and I'm going to give you a short video tour of the Conrail double-track main line known as the Onondaga Cutoff. This is a fictional bypass around the city of Syracuse. It takes a more southerly route than the main line, passing through an area called Rams Gulch south of town, and it was built in 1930 originally by the New York Central, as the story goes, to alleviate congestion in downtown Syracuse and at DeWitt Yard. We leave the Chicago Line at milepost 274 into an interlocking called CP 274. The double-track main line climbs the hill south of town and passes through Rams Gulch. The Onondaga Yard is built in that general area, just east of the interlocking with the former Lackawanna line, which is now run by a short line known as the Manoa and Euclid, according to Onondaga Cutoff history. The line continues to the west and has a major interlocking again with the Chicago Line at CP 295, where it regains the original New York Central main line right of way to head west to Buffalo and points west of there. Let's start at CP 274 with a tour from the cab. Main line starts down at CP 274, which is where we leave the Chicago Line on my hypothetical map. Which is basically the end of the staging yard. We go through the door signals here, through the interlocking plant, up the hill, towards the main line and the visible part of the layout. Most of this is done with Flex Track from a company called Micro Engineering. Does a beautiful job with their track. And I got to give thanks to Dave Schultz I bought a lot of this track used from him. Scenery down here will never really exist. The signals right that we're passing there. Now we're out of the plant at 274 and continuing to head up great, but the scenery will be upstairs, which is where we're headed once we get around the curve here. As we head west, upgrade, headed generally in a southwesterly direction through this part of Onondaga County. We're entering the town of Fayetteville eventually, but on the right here is the big Iroquois paper plant, modeled loosely after what's out in Solvay, the paperboard plant there. But that's a big customer. You can see it over to the right here, and that actually gets regular local service, a dedicated train because there's enough traffic there to justify it. We're coming up here to CP 277, right away is to the south of the original 4-track main line. Clear signal. This is as good a spot as any to stop and watch the NFSE train, or NPSE, North Platte to Selkirk train, come downgrade through CP 277. 4 units and about 50 cars today. But we'll head up here around the corner, and this is coming up on the 9 Mile Creek Bridge. And there's that NPSE train again. Eventually this, of course, will all be fully scenic, but that's competing for time these days with babies and other babies and work and wife and all those good things that you are all familiar with. So it'll be some time. Headed through downtown Fayetteville here. That's Camillus Lumber to the left and the Fayetteville team track. Another signal bridge here, the automatic signals at milepost 278. Hello, Lou. Down to the left you can see the dispatcher station and the island track, which is where we store locomotives and operating sessions. To the right here is Onondaga Yard and the Onondaga engine terminal, sanding racks and fuel stations. This is CP 280, which is the east end of Onondaga Yard. Some maintenance equipment in the caboose is off to the right. And this is a train from Selkirk to Buffalo, the SEBU train coming through the interlocking at CP 280. There's the ON10, the yard switcher to the right there with a B23-7. And now we're coming up to the home signals at CP282 in a west direction with another clear. And our SEBU train is about to knock down that clear signal as he hits the plant there at 282. Command control makes it really easy to latch together lots of locomotives with sound and lights and the whole 9 yards, and really adds a lot to the quality of the whole experience, which you'll hear here in a little bit. And once we go through CP282, we duck down through some hidden trackage, tight clearances, and we'll take a little, bumpy here and a bumpy there as we bump the wall and we bump it again. And this track pops out through automatic signals down here at milepost 292, and then comes down and exits stage offline to the west at CP 295, where hypothetically we rejoin the Chicago Line. We've worked hard to get the signal aspects to be as prototypical as possible with the help of some people that actually do the real thing, the real work, and the real consulting. So as we come down here, you'll see a medium approach on the dwarf signal to the left. Passing through CP294, and now we're headed into CP295. And now we'll take you on a short trip up the Manoa and Euclid. That's the short line that comes off at CP282 here to the south. To the right there is the old flyover. And now we're headed up the shoe fly that was built after they pulled the bridge out. Scenery here is making some progress as the short line doesn't have any signals, so there's plenty of opportunity here for some scenic areas, which you'll see here in a second. This is Crucible Chemical Company on the left here, atop the oil tank in the basement. That's a regular shipper on the M&E. And we head down through the cut here. Some foliage on the right, some foliage on the left. Then down through a deep rock cut. Central New York shale on both sides of us. And as we get down to the bottom here, we hit one of the lower points on the whole Manoa and Euclid, and this is the bridge over Skaneateles Creek. And then we exit the scenic area. We head through what will be a tunnel on the M&E. And then we climb another hill up to where we pass through the staircase, which is how you get access to the layout room. This will be another tunnel scene, obviously. And now we're coming down the hill finally into Euclid Yard, which is the basis of operations on the M&E. On the far side of the aisle to the left there, you can see Onondaga Yard and CP 280. That's the engine house to the left. That's the ME2 train back from its interchange at Onondaga on the left there with a C430 and an RS3. Dolger Brewing Company is over to the right, Euclid Yard on the left, and that is the stub end of the M&E. That's a BRSE train, Butt Railway Chicago to Selkirk, coming east through CP 282. And passing the bracket mast signal at CP 280 with a westbound lined up on track 2 with clear signal. One of the things that's fun to do is include some details to set the scene, and the New York Central style mileposts I think add a lot to it. For people that they're paying attention to some of the details, it's a good way to set the layout apart from other Conrail layouts. Just because you can tell it's ex-New York Central by looking at details like that one, signals and the mileposts, such like that. But the scenery on the M&E has come out pretty well, and I'm really excited to see how the rest of the layout comes together here. One last view for y'all looking up out of the canyon at Skaneateles Creek on the M&E.